so we are actually good. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming into this session this morning of the open house, the virtual open house, brought to you by Women Offering Wealth and the Wealth Conscious Enterprise. My name is Leroy McKenzie Jr., and I am the president and CEO of JNF Enterprises LLC. And today, what I'm going to be discussing and bringing to you is a presentation on in breaking new barriers, and I call it the seven fundamental strategies of branding and marketing. So, what we're going to cover this morning, and I'm going to share my screen in just a couple of seconds. We have a couple of topics that we're going to be going over, and actually, while I'm doing this, I think I will. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Okay. So I hope everybody can see that. If you can see that, just give me a little yes in the chat. That way I know that you can see what I have on the screen there. We want to make sure that everybody is able to see it, or the thumbs up is good as well. Thank you, Nicole. So hopefully everybody can see that. But today what we're going to be talking about is breaking into new barriers. Seven fundamental strategies of marketing and branding, because marketing and branding is one of the key aspects to being able to grow your business and your brand. So I thank you all for coming in today. I don't take anyone's time lightly, as it's been said, and as I say all the time too. Your time is your most valuable asset that you have. You can't get any more of it. You can't get any less of it. It is what it is. We all get the same 24 hours a day, and we all get those 168 hours a week. There's no more, no less. From someone who may be a homeless person all the way up to Jeff Bezos, who is the richest man in the world. We all only get 168 hours. The only difference being what we choose to do with those hours that we have. So I want to thank you all for tuning in, coming into the workshop. I want to thank you all and welcome. So my assignment today is to make sure that's moving. There we go. As I mentioned, JNF Enterprises is a distribution, publishing, and business consulting firm located here in Baltimore, Maryland, but we are designed to provide enlightening, provocative, and empowering books, Christian-based products, and 21st century business consulting techniques through our emerging authors, through our progressive technology, and our creative exposure. That's a little bit about my company, a little bit about me. I am, as I mentioned, the president and CEO of JNF Enterprises, but I have been in business, entrepreneur since 2004 was when I started JNF Enterprises. But I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit within me, and that was something that has been instilled in me ever since I was a little boy. It was always just something that I had a passion and a desire to do. So if you would ask me, would it be doing what I'm doing with JNF Enterprises? No, it wouldn't be, but it's all the same. I'm passionate, and I've grown into this journey, this entrepreneurship journey that I'm on, and hopefully you that have joined us today will be able to assist you in being able to be on your entrepreneurship journey. I'm also the author of 7 books, which focus on 2 books of poetry, a business finance series that focuses on building the 21st century company, as well as a book for men called The Power of a Man, and then also a collaboration book that I was a part of on leadership. That's just a little bit about me, and that's just the introduction of me, who I am, just a little bit about who I am. So I want to get into the topics that we will be discussing this morning, today. What we're going to be talking about today are what I call the 7 strategies, those seven fundamental strategies of branding, marketing, and branding, and then how you break into those barriers, how you break into the industries that particular industries that you're in, and hopefully after this session, you will be able to use these techniques, these strategies, these tools in order to be able to do the same thing in your industry that you are part of, in your business that you are part of. So we're going to start off with partnerships, collaborations, and sponsorships. We're going to talk about technology and how important that is. The fact that we're using technology right now is a great testament to it. We're going to talk about exposure, which is your events calendar, and then we're going to talk about exposure, which is your calendar of events, and we'll talk about the difference between the two. Next, we'll talk about is increasing your products and services. When should you increase your products and services? How to increase your products and services? What that actually looks like. Promotions. What are you doing to advertise or to market and get yourself and your particular product and service in front of your target market? What do you need to do in order to be able to do that? And then the last thing is what I call your brand new culture. Creating a culture within your business, even if it's just you. What culture are you or creating or have you created in your business that you have, and how to be able to go about creating that culture that you have. So those are going to be the topics that we discussed this morning. So I'm going to jump right in because I want to get started and I want to have as much time as possible so that we can cover everything that we're looking to be able to cover in here. Our strategy number one is partnerships, collaborations, and sponsorships. Now, if you're not a Ravens fan, I'm sorry. I feel for you, but I'm a big time Ravens fan, so y'all might see a couple of pictures that that have to deal with the Ravens on it. So we're going to talk about partnerships, collaborations, and sponsorships, and what are they? How important are they? Why are they important to your business, to you, your brand, and being able to grow who you are. So we're going to first talk about who they are connected to or who they're connected with. We're going to talk about what do they bring to the table, and then is the partnership for short term, is it for long term, and understanding the difference between them. So let's get into who they are connected to or who they're connected with. Whenever you talk about partnership, whenever you talk about collaboration and sponsorship, you want to think about who they are connected to, what their network might be, and they're going to be in turn thinking the same thing of you. You're coming together, hopefully, because they're coming together because hopefully what you're bringing together will actually expand both of you in terms of your reach and your target market and all those things. So you want to take a look at who they're connected to. Are they connected? Do they have a particular connection with certain other people that might be beneficial to you? And do you have a connection that they might also be beneficial to as well? So you definitely want to make sure of that, to make sure that they are actually who they're connected with, and then who they might be able to connect you to, and then who you might be able to connect them with. One of the things that I found in is business isn't about necessarily always the dollars and cents, but it's about relationships. It's about building relationships, and that's what partnerships do. Partnerships will certainly increase your partnerships will actually increase your relationships or build your relationships with connections with other people. The stronger your relationships, the stronger you become, the stronger the other person that you're connected to becomes, and the gives you the ability to be able to grow each of you. So you definitely want to take a look at that, of who they are connected to, who you're connected to, and or who you're connected with. The next thing is, what do they bring to the table? What do they bring to the table, just like what do you bring to the table? I learned this long time ago when I was working for an acquisitions attorney. He was an acquisitions attorney. He worked with businesses, acquiring businesses, and doing those connections. And one of the things that I learned from him was, one of the things that he told me was, you need to be able to actually need to make sure that the folks that you're getting involved with, that they have something that they're bringing to the table. because if they are not bringing anything to the table, he would tell me they have nothing invested. They have nothing vested in the connection. So you always want to make sure that you always want to make sure that that the person that you're partnering with, the person that you're collaborating with, the person that you are sponsoring, that they have something that they're bringing to the table, because you want to make sure that they have a vested interest just as you have a vested interest in what it is that you're doing, whether it's the partnership, whether it's the collaboration, or whether it's the sponsorship. You certainly want to take a look at that. It's just like they should be doing the same thing with you. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is the partnership for the short term or is it for the long term? Some partnerships, some collaborations, some sponsorships are only for a short term. You come, you do that particular project, and then you may move on. Or you may come do this particular, partnership, which may lead to another project, which may lead to another project. I have business associates that I've been connected to for years now, and we work together in several capacities and do things with each other in partnership with each other, or just in support of one another. We support one another. I'm big on relationships, as I just mentioned. So one of the aspects of relationships is supporting each other, supporting those that you have a connection with in what they do, and then they in turn will do the same. Hopefully, will do the same with you, where they will actually support the things that you do. They will actually buy into the other things that you're doing, and you don't necessarily have to be doing something together, but you support each other in the endeavors and projects that you take on, and you'll find those relationships become things that last, or those relationships are they get nurtured and they grow. Just like your business, your brand grows as well. It should grow from the partnerships. It should grow from the collaborations. It should grow from the sponsorships that you have. So that's strategy number one. Strategy number two actually is technology. We're using technology right now. Who'd have thought some 10, 15 years ago that we would be doing a virtual a virtual event? Who would have thought that this would have been a virtual open house done via Zoom, that would be done via Calibri? Those are the types of things that technology has allowed us to be able to do. So with technology, we want to talk about what's the 21st century technology innovation are you plugged into? Which one are you plugged into, or which ones are you plugged into? Are you plugged into social media? Are you plugged into Instagram? Are you plugged into Facebook? Are you plugged into YouTube? Are you plugged into Twitter? Which one of those pieces of technology are you using to be able to grow your brand? Which one of those pieces of technology, or which pieces of technology are you using to be able to market to who it is that your products and services are for? Technology is moving. It is consistently and constantly moving. So you must actually move along with it. Who'd have thought 2020 that we would have to have shifted to this type of format or venue in order to be able to gain access to doing events? Those of us that were what I call ahead of the bell curve were already doing these type of things. So it was a matter of using it even in a more of a capacity than we were prior to the pandemic that happened. The pandemic has moved us to using technology so much further and so much faster than I think what people have anticipated. So it's even more important and urgent that if your business isn't set up using certain technology innovation, that you do get plugged into them as soon as possible. You want to make sure that you have a system in place where you are plugged in, or where you do get plugged in to technology. Um, Here's your first assignment. Yes, I'm one of those presenters that has a, this is not me just talking at you. This is me actively getting engagement, and we'll have the question and answer period at the end. But you're also going to have to do the work. I want you to do the work. You have to do the work in order to be able to get you to where it is that you want to be. So the first assignment, and I call them assignments, is in the next 30 days, how will you use technology to grow your brand? In the next 30 days, how will you use technology to grow your brand? And what I mean by that is what are you using? What tools do you have in your technology toolkit, your toolbox that you can use in order to be able to gain the exposure that you need in order to be able to put people in recognition of who you are, what you do, and how you do it when it comes to your brand. How are you using Instagram? How are you using Facebook? How are you using YouTube? How are you going to use Twitter? What are those tools um, that you're going to use? And you don't have to use all of them, but I do suggest that you use at least a couple of them in order to be able to gain that to start to expand your reach as a brand. Trust me, it will do great things for you. I remember when I had my my marketing consultant. I was talking with her, and I was just trying to get started with the using of technology. And one of the first things that she told me that she wanted me to do was to be able to start doing more postings to my social media. So being the business person that I was like, I don't have time to be able to do, to do all of that. I'm not, I'm not ready to do all of that. I don't have time to do that. So she said, Leroy, I just want you to just try it, use it, and and see where it actually leads you. And she gave me a simple task of posting once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once in the evening. That's all she asked me to start by doing. So I said, okay. I said, I can do that. I said, that's fine. And I found myself starting doing that. And as I started going, um, I started creating different aspects of the postings so that it would actually have some content to it and some teeth to it. So in the morning, I would post something that was motivational. This is the concept that I came up with. In the morning, it was something that was motivational. In the afternoon, I would post something that had to do with my business, whether my product or services, or if it was an event that I might be speaking at, I would do some kind of advertising or promotion about it, doing a live video or something about that, talking about it. And then in the evening, I would do something that had totally nothing to do with business or anything like that. It was about having fun. And I did just that. In the evening, I created what's called an evening conversation, which is where I take different. I can go from something as simple as two movies, pitting the two movies against each other, or to musical artists that I may love. I enjoy music, so taking artists that I may enjoy, and that people I know people like as well, or to movie stars, athletes, all different kinds of things to get people talking. And engagement. And it's nothing more than getting engagement from people. So that was the thing that I learned by doing something as simple as that. And one of the things that myself and my marketing consultant, what we talked about and discussed was understanding that doing the different postings was like listening to the radio. And you know how you in your car in the morning, you have to go to your job, or you may be going somewhere in the morning, but you listen to a certain DJ. They play that music that time of day. You go in the afternoon, there's another DJ, but they're usually playing the same kind of music. They're usually playing the same kind of music. Same thing in the evening. And what I learned and deciphered from that was it's a rotation. And the same people that may see your information in the morning is not the same people that will see your information in the afternoon. Same people that may see your information in the afternoon aren't the same ones that will see it in the evening. So you have this nice rotation of people that may be coming through coming through seeing your posting. So that was the important importance of using how I use technology to be able to gain more exposure by what I was doing. Now you have to do the work, like I said, and create the content, relevant content that people that will get people engaged. So you definitely want to make sure that it's that. And then the third thing that we'll talk about when it comes to technology is where do you see your brand in the next 5 to 10 years? Ask yourself that question. And I'm asking you that. Where do you see your brand in the next 5 to 10 years? One of the things that I learned from my mentor was his mantra is dominate the decade. So what he taught us was we're not only thinking about the here and now, but we're thinking 5 years down the road. We're thinking 10 years down the road. Because why is that? Because everything that you do today will determine where you are the next 5 years, the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years from now. I'm going to say that again. Everything that you do today will determine where you are in the next 3 years, the next 1 year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. So you must start today in doing those things that will get you to where you want to be in 5 years, in 3 years, in 10 years, because it's all about understanding where it is that you want to be. And you have to set, I don't call them goals, I call them assignments. By setting those assignments up so that you can be successful, setting those assignments up so that you can be where it is that you want to be. And more specifically, even on an annual basis, my goal, my assignment each year is to make not only myself better by the end of that year than I was at the beginning of the year, but it's also to make my clients and those customers that I serve better by the end of the year than they were at the beginning of the year. And how do I do that? I do that by doing events such as this, where we talk about those things that we need to do when it comes to our business, when it comes to us, our personal aspects of our lives and our personal lives. And then, of course, when it comes to our brain, what are those things that we need to be doing right now? What are those things that we need to be doing on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a semi-annual basis, on an annual basis, in order to be where it is that we want to be. So that's how you use technology to be able to put yourself in the better position, into a growth position that you want to be by the end of this year. So strategy number three is your exposure. Your events calendar, what I call your events calendar. Now we're going to talk about your events calendar, and then we're going to talk about your calendar of events and the difference between the two. Now, your exposure for your events calendar, this is you. This is you, your business, and your brand. What are those things that you're doing with your particular products, your particular services? What are you as an individual doing? What are those things that you have set up in that month that have to do with your products, your services, in order to be able to grow your business and your brand? So what we're going to talk about is what sources can you use to increase your visibility over the next 6 months. In the next 30 days, what PR venues can you use to increase your brand awareness? And then how many of your clients can you get to give you a referral testimony? So let's start with the what sources can you use to increase your visibility over the next 6 months? And what do I mean by that? What sources do you have at your exposure right now that you can use to increase your visibility? How is it that you're going to be able to put you in front of other people, your target audience, in over the next 6 months? And as I mentioned, you have those tools, whether it's on your laptop or whether it's something as simple as this phone that you have right here. And I always say that Steve Jobs was the great. He has to be the greatest, if not one of the greatest minds of the 21st century, because what he gave us was the solution to a problem that we did not know that we had. Who knew that we would be able to do everything, pretty much everything that we needed to do with this little device here, this phone, doing everything we can. There's some of you that may even be on your phones right now at this open house, at this virtual open house. That's the craziest thing to me in the world. So what are those things that you're going to use to be able to gain that visibility? Is it doing a video? You can do a video right on your phone and put it out there for people to be able to see who you are, the products that you do, and the different services that you may offer. So what are those things that you're going to do? Here's the second assignment. What are those assignments? What are those things that you're going to do, whether it's weekly, whether it's bi-weekly, whether it's monthly, and over the next 6 months that will increase your visibility? Is it having an event where you talk about your product, where you're able to sell your products and services? Something such as something that you're doing, that you're putting on. You might have a book that you want to add, that you want to market and talk about. So what are you doing? Are you having a book release? Are you having a business launch? Are you launching your business, or you just want to actually put on an event that you want to put on? I'll give you an example. I was talking with a client and business associate of mine last night, and we were discussing doing a poetry event. We were a poetry event that we wanted to put on to be able to give a platform to those who are poets, who are artists, and to give them the ability to be able to perform. That's us putting on this event. His company will be a partner with me, with my company, and we will sponsor the event. So it's things like that that you do to be able, that will give you and allow you the ability to be able to gain the exposure and visibility that you want. So the second assignment, the third assignment, in the next 30 days, what PR venues can you use to increase your brand awareness? And what I mean by that, what venues are you using to advertise who you are? I'll give you an example of that. I have partners that we have a magazine called What's Up Baltimore. And in that magazine, we have actually advertisers. We have businesses that advertise their business right inside the magazine here, and they have the ability to gain exposure by being in that magazine. That gives them people brand awareness of who they are. That's something that I do, and then also the newspaper, the National Black Unity News. National Black Unity News is a global newspaper, national global newspaper that has editors, authors, in different pieces that you can put your business in the newspaper as well. So those are just two examples of what you can do in order to be able to create or increase your brand awareness. What are you doing to be able to put yourself in those positions to be in front of your target market, your target audience? The only way that they're going to know who you are is if you expose them to who you are. Let me say that again. The only way that they know who you are is by exposing them to who you are. You have to do that. So the third thing is how many of your clients can you get to give you a referral? How many clients can you get to give you a referral or testimony? And this is huge because getting a referral from a client says so much about you, and it goes a long way. And I know most of you probably remember or have heard that word of mouth is one of the strongest tools that you have in growing your business. Word of mouth works. It can lift you up, and it can knock you down. But doing a simple thing as when you have a client or customer that buys a product or service from you, and they ask you or you ask them, how was the service? Did the product work for them? Did they receive the service that they need? They say yes. Then you ask them, would you mind doing a brief testimonial for me? Doesn't have to be. It can be 30 to 60 seconds. They just give you a resounding review. It's similar to even going on if you're set up with Google, or having them do a review for you. All of those things give you the ability to be able to show other people the products and services that you offer, but that they are good products, good services, and that you provide um, a good customer service in those things. That goes a long way. Having those referrals, and referrals is one of the best ways that you can use to be able to grow your brand, because it actually shows that people automatically will take someone else's word for your particular product or service, because they may not know you personally, and they're taking that other person's word that, wow, yeah, they went to, they gave me great, great customer service. They were on time. They did this, they did that. How many times have you gone to a restaurant, or how many times have you used a product or service and you just thought that it was great, it was phenomenal? Well, you want the same thing to be, with your business. You want them to be able to give you that same kind of referral, that same kind of acknowledgement, so that so that you're able to grow your brand to other individuals, and put yourself out there. So that's strategy number three. Strategy number four, which is exposure, but this is the calendar of events. And what I mean by calendar of events, that is the other businesses or other associates that you may have, or just other events that are being put on that you go to or that you attend. Remember, I mentioned about supporting your other business associates. Well, this would fall under that calendar of events. You have a friend that has an event that's coming up, so you want to support them, and you go to that particular event. Or you know of an event that you saw on Eventbrite that you want to attend, or you saw it on social media and you want to attend. Those are the kinds of things that are the calendar of events. You want to make sure that these are what I call be in the room events. This today, this virtual open house was a be in the room event for you. Why? Because you're here. So you felt compelled enough, and saw the value in wanting to attend this kind of event. So you wanted to be in that room. And why do I say be in the room? Because you never know who you're going to meet in that room. You never know what relationship is going to bloom or blossom from being at that event. That's why I say you always want to make sure that you have those be in the room events on your calendar of events. And what is that? Your calendar of events, you begin by setting your 30-day calendar. That's in the next 30 days, or what's going on each month. You can just take each month, what's happening each month, what events are going on, and then which of those events should you be attending. And you do the same thing for the events that you have in that 30-day time frame. Whose calendar are you on? And what three major events are you attending, or do you need to attend? And then the last one is, what weekly events are you going to that you can network with your target market? So what are those things? Begin with your 30-day calendar. You want to create a 30-day calendar that you can have of events that are going on. And then you just select which events are the best events that are going to be beneficial for you to attend. And and you don't have to go to every event. You don't have to go to all of them, but you want to because you want to be very selective in the events that you go to. You want to make sure that it has your target market, um, that makes it worth you going to be there. You want to make sure that you can make certain connections if you're going to be attending it. Who's going to be in the room? You want to make sure that the individuals or the people that you want to be in that room are going to necessarily be in that room. So you want to look at it that way. Whose calendar are you on? Are you on someone else's calendar? I was on this calendar to be able to be one of the presenters at this event. So this was one of my calendar of events, to be able to do this particular event on this particular day as a presenter. And then I tell my clients, what three major events are you or should you be attending? And I say three. And these events may have to be, right now we can't travel, but these are events that you travel to. We're traveling, but we travel virtually right now. But it's those events that you may have to travel to. It's going to cost you to attend that particular event, but it's worth your time. It's worth the money that you will have to spend in order to be able to attend that particular event. That you want three of those a year. And you want to make sure that they're major events where you can actually do some big networking, you can do some big connections, and you want to where you're able to build relationships from that. What weekly events are you going to that you can network with your target market? And that's as simple as, like I mentioned before, on social media, you might be connected with different groups within your, within your Facebook realm that have different events that are going on, and you'll get the notifications, and then you can attend those particular events. So you want to look at that. Eventbrite is another place that you can go to be able to see what events are going on in your area. And then also Meetup. Meetup is a great way too to find out what events are going on that you should be able to attend. So that's the difference between the exposure for your events calendar and then exposure for your calendar of events. So that's strategy number 4. Strategy number 5 is increasing your products and services. How do you know when to increase your products and services? Should you increase your products and services? All of those things that come along with that. What products or services can you add to your brand? You may not need to initially add products or services to your brand, and you shouldn't in the beginning. But what you will find is that there are certain products that you can add on. If you look at I'll give you an example of McDonald's. McDonald's was, when it initially started, was what? Burger, fries, and a drink. Burger, fries, and a drink was it. Well, over the years, you've seen that their particular product has expanded. It's gone from burgers, fries, and a drink to now where they have different types of salads, because people have gone to try and be to eating healthier. So they offer, a variety of healthy foods. Just like if you were to go to other different restaurants, you'll see they have a healthy side of the menu versus just the regular side of the menu. And that came along because of people's transition, their shift into wanting to eat healthier. So that's what you want to think about when you think about what products and services that you can add to your brand. Then also you want to think about what way can you expand the products or services that you already offer. Now, same thing. Let's take the same scenario using McDonald's. They found that, hey, they went from having just the Big Mac to offering what or just, I should say, having the cheeseburger or hamburger to a cheeseburger to a double cheeseburger to a Big Mac. So they added on, expanded what it was that they were already offered. They didn't change from burgers to now fry. I mean to chicken. They stuck with burgers. They stayed with burgers. They even added the chicken sandwich. Now they got a new crispy chicken sandwich that I got to check out too, y'all. So, but they they actually have expanded the product that they have. Why? Because that they saw that they would be able to increase their target market by offering additional types of sandwiches. So that's what you think about when it comes to your product and your service. And what you'll find too, when you listen to your clients, you listen to your target audience, they will tell you some of the things that they may be in addition to need of. One of the things that I offered with my business, with my business consulting, with my business clients is the entrepreneur kit. Well, I offered the entrepreneur kit, but what I also found was that that they were actually in need of a press kit. They were actually in need of a marketing kit. There were different aspects of what they were getting that I could expand to. So that's what I did. I expanded to giving them, the workbooks. I expanded to giving them the press kits, offering them the different things that went along with, or that could go along with them growing their business, that went along with growing with the entrepreneur kit, with the regular marketing and all of those different aspects of it, the websites, all of those things that came along with it. So you want to think in terms of that, how you can expand it. And then when was the last time you got feedback from your clients? Asking your clients, is there anything else that you need? Is there anything else that I can assist you with? One of the things that I liked and that I loved about what Home Depot does is they ask you, and I'm walking around randomly, and they would ask me, "Are you finding everything okay? Did you find everything that you need?" I've even had them do that in Giant, where they've done the same thing, where they've asked me, "Excuse me, did you find everything that you need today?" Something as simple as that can be the difference between how a client sees you as just meeting their needs and you just doing what you need to do to get them to be able to get them their product and their service, or exceeding their expectations, where you show them that you want to ensure and make sure that they have their needs met when they come to you. So that's the importance of looking at your increasing your products and services and what that can do for you. Strategy six, promotions. What items in your is your what I call your get their attention item, your 30 get their attention item. You must have one particular product or one particular product and service that you know that you take on that gets you or that can get their attention. Whether it's a book, whether it's a any other particular type of product that you have or service that you offer that is going to warrant them paying attention to you. You definitely want to develop that. You want to get their attention, and you can also get their attention by using the 30-second pitch, which is three major things, which is telling them who you are, what you do, and how you do it. I'm gonna say that again: who you are, what you do, and how you do it. That's your 30-second pitch. Who you are, what you do, and how you do it. You want to develop that 30-second pitch so that no matter where you are, and you hear what I call your Google search words, your keywords, which is where someone says a keyword to you that has to do with the product and services that you are or that you offer or the business that you're in, and you go right into your 30-second pitch. You go right into telling them who you are, what you do, and how you do it. And then the third thing with your promotions is what is your mission, message, movement, motivation. This is how you connect with people. This is how people will connect with you as your brand. As your brand, does it have a mission? As your brand, does it have a message? As your brand, is it a movement? Does it create a movement? And then as your brand, what's your motivation? And then what should their motivation be? You want to make sure that it has those four key elements to it, because that's how you build the connection with your target market, and that's how you take them from being just a customer to being a loyal client to you, where they will only look to you to be able to do what it is that you do. There may be other people that do or give them the product or service that you give, but because of your meeting their need and exceeding their expectation, they become loyal to you. There are certain brands I'm quite sure that you all only will buy for certain whatever it is, whether it's hair care products, whether it's shower gel, whatever it is. I'm quite sure you're loyal to certain brands when it comes to certain things. So that's what you're looking to create with your mission, your message, your movement, and your motivation. And the last thing that we'll talk about, and then I'm going to take questions, is your brand you what I call your brand you culture. What is your brand new culture? It's what's your next step, setting a foundation for your business and your brand. And what that is what's the foundational things? What are those three things that you want people to think about when it comes to your brand? What are the three things that you want people to think about when it comes to your brand? I'll give you an example. With my company, J&F Enterprises, the three things that we're grounded in and rooted in is enlighten, empower, and impact. You'll see that, when people hear J&F Enterprises, I want them thinking those three things because they know that they're going to be enlightened, empowered, and impacted. What I mean by enlightened, it's going to teach you something. They're going to be taught something. They're going to be enlightened or equipped with something, and then we're going to impact you to want to do something. So it's going to be those three elements. Those three foundational things that you want to develop for your company. um, Doing your routine maintenance and checkup. What does that mean? That means checking up on your business, seeing if your business is doing what it's supposed to be doing it, whether it's monthly, whether it's quarterly, whether it's semi-annually, or whether it's annually. But you need to be making sure that you're doing your routine maintenance checkup on your business, just like your car. You know that your car needs to have an oil change every 3,000 to 7,000 miles. So what do? You got to take it into the mechanic, and while you have it in there with the mechanic, you have the mechanic check all of the other aspects of your car to make sure that it's running smoothly and that it'll continue smooth. Same thing with your business. You want to do that same thing. And then developing your branding culture. Your branding culture is, even if it's just you, what is the environment that you create around you, so that when you walk into a room, people know who you are, they know what you do, and then they know how you do it. You create this mindset. My mindset for everything that I do when it comes to JNF Enterprises, as I mentioned before, is to enlighten, empower, and impact. And I call myself the impact builder. Why? Because I believe that when you build the impact, you change the world. And I'm about changing the world. I'm about changing people's environment from the encounter that they had with me, because my mission is to make you better after you have the encounter with me than you were before you had the encounter with me. Like I said, being better by the end of 2021 than you were at the beginning of 2021. That is always my mission for me, and that is always my motivation for my clients that I serve. So I want to take the last few minutes we have, because I got like 5 minutes, so I'm sorry it took so long. But if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me through Facebook under JNF Enterprises, or my name, Leroy McKenzie Jr. Instagram at JNF Enterprises. YouTube, you can go to YouTube and see presentations that I've done. I have a couple of podcasts that I do, talking about business customer service, but then also publishing, book publishing, and also where I talk about just personal development and professional development as well. So you can connect with me on YouTube, JNF Enterprises as well. So I'm going to take this off and then see if there are any questions, and if there are, let me see if I can pull it up, y'all. See if okay. Um, but if anyone has a question, you can either take yourself off of mute really quickly, and you can ask a question, or you can put it in the chat, and we'll and hopefully I can answer those questions right quickly. I hope that this workshop was informative to you. I hope it gave you some knowledge, information, and resources that you were able to use in order to either start your business or grow your business to that next level, and your brand, take your brand to that next level. And it's about breaking those barriers. You got to break into, if you're just breaking into whatever level you're going to, you're breaking into that new level, that new barrier that you're going into. And I believe if you put this system in place, as I tell people, it's vitally important that you have systems in place, whether it's a branding system, whether it's a marketing system, whether it's a customer service system. You want to have your business set up so that you have systems in place, so that even if you're not there, someone can come and they would be able to do the things that you have set up, and your business still run. That's the ultimate goal of being an entrepreneur, is having systems in place so that you don't have to do all of the work and all of the heavy lifting, because you have those systems in place where people can actually do those types of things. So actually, thank you. This workshop was great. Content was insightful, provoking. I took good amount of notes. Thank you. So, as I mentioned, if you want to connect with me, and I'll put my website. You can go to www.jnfenterprises.com as well. And then I will mention too, along with what I did today, the presentation, I actually also have a workbook that I do too, which is the 7 strategies fundamental brand marketing and branding that folks can do. As I mentioned, you want to have something to go along with um, the you want to have products and services that add on to the things that you do and the content that you bring up. One of the things that I have people focusing on is your digital content. The more digital content that you have, it allows more people to expose yourself to more people. I can't tell you how technology has leveled the playing field for small businesses versus big businesses. You don't have to have the big budgets that these Fortune 500 companies have, because you have access to a lot of things right there that you can use that are very cost effective, that will give you the same bang for your buck as the big boys, as we call them, as the big boys have. So if we if we if there aren't any questions, I thank everyone for their feedback. I'm glad that folks were able to take notes and take the information, use this information. I want you to be able to go right away to be able to use this information, the knowledge and the resources that we talked about here, to be able to implement them into starting your business or growing your business, breaking that barrier, like we talked about, breaking the barriers that you want to break into, and you have to be willing to step forward. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to step forward. Don't be afraid to leave the familiar. This is my mantra for this year, you all. Leave the familiar and elevate your influence. You can't elevate your influence if you're staying in the same familiar places that you're in. So this is what hopefully you'll gain from this, and the rest of the open house, the virtual open house today and tomorrow, that it'll give you the confidence that you need in order to be able to leave that familiar place, leave your comfort zone, become comfortable with being uncomfortable, become comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's the only way that you leave the familiar and you elevate your influence. Expanding your branding, increasing your branding is about elevating your influence. Elevate your influence in 2021, and I promise you, you'll be successful no matter the industry that you're in, no matter what it is that you want to achieve. Set those assignments that you need in order to be able to get you to where you want to be by the end of 2021. I promise you. So again, my name is Leroy McKenzie, and I thank you all for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of the virtual open house. And like I said, if you want to connect with me, I'll put the information in there really quickly before I leave. I'll make sure that it's there. If you want to screenshot, you actually can. Again, you can go to www.jnfenterprises.com. You can also connect with me on social media, JNF Enterprises, or my name, Leroy McKenzie Jr. on Facebook. Instagram is at JNF Enterprises, and then Twitter is at JNF Enterprises 1, and then YouTube is JNF Enterprises. So before we go, I'm gonna take one more picture. I know I'm a picture person, y'all. I gotta do these things. So I just want to thank y'all for tuning in, and I appreciate you all coming in. And let's leave the familiar and let's elevate our influence for 2021. We'll talk to y'all soon. Did you have a question, Nia? I see you popped in.
No, I just want to say thank you. This was really great information and great insight and things to think about moving forward. I think for myself and for all of us on the call who are in the process of creating greatness.
There you go. There you go. Creating great. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I thank everybody for attending. Because like I said, you don't take lightly Saturday morning, getting up on an early Saturday morning and being poured into the way that this, hopefully this open house will be able to pour into everybody. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Leroy.
All right. All right. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Be great.
Leroy, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. Mm.
You said your Instagram, your to contact you. What is it? It's JF Enterprise.
No, JNF. J is in
Oh,
Jesus. Yeah, J is in Jesus. N is in never. F is in fail.
okay.
Jesus never fails enterprises.
Enterprise. Great. Awesome. Okay.